Charlotte Flair's return has been a big topic of discussion recently, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out some big news for Stone Cold Steve Austin, the character change for Austin Theory, and more. Let's start things off with everything related to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte hasn't been seen in WWE at all since May 8th, 2022. This, of course, was a date of WrestleMania Backlash that saw Charlotte Flair drop her Smackdown Women's title to Ronda Rousey. And then Charlotte was written off of television with a storyline injury for that match. Now, going back to May, reports at the time indicated that it'll probably be a couple of months away for Charlotte, and how she'll return a little past summertime. Reports also claim that one of the main reasons for the time off was also because of Charlotte's wedding with Andrade, which did take place several months ago. But now there's been well over 6 months since her last WWE appearance. Fans are starting to wonder when we'll actually see her return. Andrade was the one that said a few weeks ago that it's some personal reasons that are currently getting in the way of Charlotte's return, and how she herself will address everything when she's ready. Ric Flair was then questioned about Charlotte's WWE status during his podcast, and he had this to say, quote, "To be very honest, I have no idea. She keeps everything to herself. I know she's talking to the company, but I don't know any more than that. If I did, I couldn't tell you anyway. She doesn't trust me to tell me anything because I can't keep my mouth shut." End quote. Ric Flair and his co-host then assured everyone that Charlotte was in fact more than fine both emotionally and physically. She's not dealing with any issues like that and is in talks with WWE. But outside of those comments from Ric Flair, things are still pretty quiet in regards to Charlotte's return. There's no official reports or even timetables for her return at all. The good thing about Charlotte's return is that it'll be absolutely perfect on either WWE brand. Over on Smackdown, Charlotte could return to confront Ronda Rousey and try to get her Smackdown Women's title back. Charlotte and Ronda's history with each other goes way back. But now the roles will be flipped. Ronda Rousey is the heel and Charlotte Flair will be the returning babyface. So this is a complete reversal of their early 2022 feud. So that could be interesting. Then over on Raw, Charlotte's return there could have something to do with Bianca Belair. Charlotte and Bianca met in the ring in late 2021, but it wasn't really a full-fledged feud, so there's a lot more story to tell between the two of them. That feud would also be great because Bianca Belair has feuded and defended all the 4 horsewomen, except for Charlotte Flair. Bianca has checked off Sasha, Becky, and Bayley. She has pinned and defeated those 3 women multiple times. The only one left to defeat is Charlotte. So if they take this feud to WrestleMania 39, it could be a big match for both sides. Bianca Belair is undefeated at WrestleMania with 2 wins and 0 title losses. So potentially defeating Charlotte Flair to improve to 3 wins, 0 losses at WrestleMania would be a pretty huge deal as well. So that's the latest with Charlotte Flair's return. Her return will be huge, especially after being away for this long, and she has great returns waiting for her on either brand. So it'll be exciting to see what happens there with Charlotte Flair's return. In other big WWE return news, Stone Cold Steve Austin is being rumored for another match. Steve Austin made his long-awaited return to the ring in Night 1 of the main event of WrestleMania 38 against Kevin Owens. It was a surprise match, and Austin went all the way with a lengthy street fight with Kevin Owens. But now, there's rumors and buzz about Stone Cold coming back for another one. Fightful is reporting that Vince McMahon was planning to have Steve Austin wrestle again, and it's being reported that the offer is still on the table from the Triple H regime for Austin to wrestle again. So Steve Austin has hinted at the idea of wrestling again. Now it's being reported that an offer's on the table, so it looks like the stars are starting to align once again for another Stone Cold Steve Austin match. There's no actual timetable for this rumored match, but fans speculate that if he's going to wrestle again, it'll be at WrestleMania 39. So like some fans are already pointing out, WrestleMania 39 has a realistic chance of having Stone Cold Steve Austin The Rock, and John Cena, all featured and competing at the event. So the buzz for WrestleMania 39 is already getting up there with all the rumored returns. We'll have to see if Stone Cold Steve Austin does accept that offer for another match. Now let's get into things with Austin Theory, because as expected, there was an explanation and reasoning behind his failed cash-in. So when Austin Theory used his Money in the Bank contract on the United States Championship, especially when Seth Rollins was already hosting an open challenge, Theory's character received a lot of slander from the fans for the poor decision-making. That entire cash-in scenario was one of the worst overall scenarios for a Money in the Bank contract that we've ever seen. But thankfully, there was a reason and direction behind that failed cash-in, and it turned out to be what some fans were already saying. It was Triple H basically killing off the Vince McMahon version of the Austin Theory character and introducing the Triple H version of the Austin Theory character. Theory explained his actions, saying that he already had a few cash-in attempts on Roman Reigns, but there was always interference and the entire bloodline surrounding this situation. Austin Theory deemed cashing in on Roman Reigns as just impossible, so he completely gave up and figured it wasn't happening. So that's why he started looking at the NXT title and eventually the US title. Austin Theory comes out and brutally attacks Dolph Ziggler during their match. Theory easily could have gotten the win over Ziggler, but for him right now, coming off the failed cash-in, he doesn't really care about the win. It's bigger than that for him. So he brutally takes out Dolph Ziggler using furniture and everything else that he can find, with a look on his face that we haven't seen before. It was a whole new Austin Theory, Triple H's version of what Austin Theory should be like. It's also being reported that all that goofy actions Austin Theory used to do under the Vince McMahon regime have also been removed. No more selfie act for Austin Theory, no more of those silly little parts to his character. That's all been removed, and he'll be an actual serious heel going forward. So it was a very much needed bounce back week for Austin Theory, especially after that failed cash-in. He took out Ziggler in a character-changing fashion and also closed out Raw by standing on the top of Seth Rollins while holding the United States title. So it looks like Austin Theory's new mission is clear: get that United States title back in his possession. Theory was the United States champion up until the night of Money in the Bank, so it appears that his eyes are back being locked in on the title that he once held. And as far as the Money in the Bank contract itself, fans are questioning the future of the contract after what we just saw with Austin Theory. But it doesn't seem like the Money in the Bank contract is going anywhere. That was likely something they did just for this year. Obviously, no one was having a successful cash-in over Roman Reigns right now, so it looks like this was their way to write this year's contract off. But next year's Money in the Bank contract should be back in full effect. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Charlotte Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Austin Theory? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.